Good morning, everybody. So happy to be with you this morning. So let's meditate. Take your attention all the way down to your tip of the tailbone. Breathing into that space. And feeling for what we'll call the matrix of divinity. That which is beyond our normal awareness. And when we call it that, we are calling ourselves into the awareness of divine presence. Which, because it is so much more refined than our ordinary awareness, it brings to us a feeling of awe. And that divine presence, of course, is never separate from us, but it is often a place we avoid in our conscious awareness. Because when we are in that divine presence, all other awareness is dwarfed. And as human beings, we want to be in control. So allow yourself to sink into that divine matrix. And release the desire for control. Control is ego. Desire for control, any thoughts of what we're going to do with this access to divine matrix are attempts at control. Breathe into that divine matrix and allow your experience of it to expand. With every breath, come deeper into this awareness. Allow your attention to travel upwards to just below the belly button. And this total experience is of allowing. And appreciating. Please ignore all impulses to hold your stomach in. As you allow your awareness to inhabit this energy center. When you're ready, gently allow your attention to rise to the solar plexus, breathing into this space. And allowing this divine matrix to permeate every cell of your body. That is, as it is deeply personal and powerfully transcendent in the same moment. Allowing yourself to become aware of the divine matrix in your heart center. And as you feel into this heart center, we want you to be aware of a different circulation that exists between the heart center and what we call the high heart, which is above the top of the head. And so as you feel yourself grounded in the heart center and its expansiveness, all the while connected to divine matrix, you feel into the energy center at the top of your head, above the top of your head. It's described as 8 finger widths, as in this, above the head. And there is a natural circulation between the heart center and the high heart that is an information center that includes the throat and the energy center where the heart and soft palates meet. So this is not outside the body, but connected to it completely. As always, we are one. So we're talking about dimensional awareness within the one. And you can feel as you connect from the heart center above, you naturally hold to your connection below. And suddenly you have the Trinity, the tip of the tailbone, the heart center, and the high heart. Divine Mother, divine matrix in the heart, and the high heart, which is the highest best for the whole. The feminine does not deny access to the masculine, but rather walks hand in hand. Dominance is unwelcome in divine matrix. It can't exist in divine matrix. And as we occupy our highest self, we allow the white light to completely permeate all of us. And release whatever has been blocking our access throughout time and space. We invite in all gods and angels to help us and guide us in releasing all obstruction throughout time and space. Feel your breath expand. Allow yourself to completely feel. Allow yourself to be completely transformed here and now. Not wishing for the future, but participating in the here and now in union with divine matrix. Allow yourself to change. Experience yourself as pure white light. Allow your cells to take in this radiance. We are the ones we have been waiting for. It exists inside every single one of us. This is the essence of the meaning of be here now. This now moment encompasses past, present, and future. Completely in this awareness, slowly, gently open your eyes. And allow yourself to participate fully in the all of the all that is in this moment. How may we serve today? Yes.
People I know have having sleep disturbances now, and just seem to be like a more general pattern.
Well, we have a lot of firsthand experience of that. Oh, sorry. The question is, so many people in our lives are experiencing sleep disturbance right now. And what do we have to say about that? So the first thing we said is we have a lot of personal experience of it. to the point of having to take medication to sleep at all. Which, of course, is something that we would normally recommend against. But without sleep, life becomes really weird. And so we'll take the medication, hoping that it's a temporary phenomenon, because we're not really interested in prolonging the experiment with altered state to get sleep, which of course creates altered state, which, muddies the water a bit. But the trade-off for the moment is worth it. And so this is sort of an example of how we balance worldly life with psychic upheaval. Because it is a time when many, many people are transforming very quickly. And this is why the sleep schedule is disordered. Because transformation does not happen in earthly time and space. It happens in divine matrix, which is beyond time and space. So when we entertain on a regular basis energies beyond time and space, we experience distortion in the matrix of belief, which is based in time and space. Part of that distortion can be disruption of circadian rhythm, because we are no longer in alignment exactly with circadian rhythm. Eventually, it will rebalance so that the common denominator, as it were, within our physiology expands to encompass circadian rhythm as part of adaptation into divine matrix, so that the sleep schedule returns to normal. But this will not be based in time and space predictive formulas, because it is outside of time and space itself. But the equilibration will take place. So as these transformations take place, there can be disruptions in the physical reorganization as we increase our capacity to experience divine matrix. These reorganizations are temporary, but because they are beyond our control, as is all of divine matrix, the only control we have is to continuously invite transformation. Understanding from within ourselves that this expansion, although it appears to involve sacrifice, in no way does in the big picture. as we have said before, we have no idea, as human beings, we have no idea of how much of earthly beings, how many earthly beings are participating in this transcendent experience, because it is not what people communicate about in a social way. Because throughout most of the earth, and much of humankind is not up. And so those who are experiencing it know that, or learn quickly, that talking about it is not helpful. Except in arenas like this, where nurturing and support, which is quite necessary in this transcendence, is available. Did we answer the question?
Yes. Yes.
And as we cultivate this experience, it becomes richer, and we're struggling to find words. As we cultivate this experience, our intuitive awareness becomes more and more accurate. And as we become more refined, we speak less about our current experience, as we allow those around us to demonstrate their capacity to benefit from what we have to offer. We are always at the ready to share. And we create circumstances in which people make themselves available to receive like this. And we serve everyone who comes as completely as possible. And we're not speaking about some detached, some experience that's not available to you. Every life that our life, and we are speaking of the whole of us, touches, benefits from our experience, whether we say a word or not. We'd love to hear from you. Yes.
Hi, everybody. Well, that was sure a powerful meditation and explanation of what's going on. And sometimes I just feel like a big hot mess. And
Join the club.
so that might explain a couple things. But that was powerful meditation, and thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah.
You're completely welcome. What we say is totally dependent on you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
So the meditation, yes, was powerful, and that was needed today for me, to bring the awareness back. I had been pulled off uh, course, by our daughter again, who sent us a very disturbing, accusatory email, a quote, an excerpt from some doctor who talks about parent-child relationships and abuse and that sort of thing. And it's always disturbing to us, and it takes days a lot of times to come back to center and love and acceptance and equilibrium, really. So this meditation was very helpful in speeding up that process, which usually takes a few days after we receive something from her. But what we've been noticing is that all our encounters, whether they be by phone with people we haven't talked to for a long time, or encounters in our daily life, are very loving, very nurturing, very um, what can I say? Just beautiful encounters. And then there's this one that keeps coming around again. It's like it's a
On an
sign
orbit.
on an orbit, right? He says, where at that point she's got to do this thing, and uh, there's no way to relate to it because there's no compassion or love. She wants us to do something to join her in what sounds like a hell world to me. Um, and we can't do it. And so she says, well, I know this won't come to anything because you guys aren't, up to it or whatever. Anyway, even though it's easy to see and have compassion for what she must be going through, it's still very disturbing, and it stands out in our daily life experience. Um, and I was wondering, I've been looking for what the purpose of that might be, what the teaching is there, what's the lesson that I need to learn. Um,
Well,
what's it for?
you can use this as as long as it lasts, as an indication that you've made a shift to a new level. And so this person has to re-choose victimhood. Every time you switch to a new level, they have a choice of awakening or locking down further. And as long as they choose this victimhood stance, then they feel as if they have no responsibility for their own state. They have abdicated responsibility. And so every time you make a shift in your reality, they are invited to join. And this is their answer. And so you can use it as an indication that you are yet again making a shift and prompting this rededication, which is their choice, to the hell realm. You are exactly right. A hell realm that involves abdication of responsibility for oneself. And there is nothing to be done. It's not that there's nothing to be done, there's nothing to be done in material reality to address this. It can only be addressed in the Anasa temple, the highest, best for the whole, where you're already going repeatedly and having conversations with the highest self of this person. And the indication that the connection is still there is their reaction to your continued growth. Does that make any sense?
It's so right on. I thank you so much. It's really clears up the confusion that I feel every time she, it seems like, lashes out at
It is a
both of
lashing
us.
out. She feels powerless in hell and doesn't understand that there is no effort from the outside that will bring her peace. There is nothing you can do that will bring her peace. The only place you can work is in the Anasa temple. There is no three-dimensional reality location or there is nothing in three-dimensional reality that you can do that will change this circumstance. You can pray that she meet a catalyst that speaks to her. In some way she can understand to begin her evolution of taking responsibility. But, blame is a choice. And it usually comes from shame. Blame and shame are tightly interwoven. And they keep us in hell. Until we love all of our blame and shame into harmony. And then it's no longer blame and shame. But taking on another person's blame and shame just gives them the opportunity to produce more. It doesn't, and it makes them madder because they want you to do it all the time. So to them, it feels like you're not doing it. But this is what maturity is, understanding that we are self-responsible. With a small s in the beginning.
Thank you so much. I can feel the toxicity leaving.
Yes, when these people are part of our genetics, we have to uplift that part of ourselves that resonates with the message that these people bring, the part that wants to go to blame and shame and guilt. And consciously choose to love that in ourselves over and over and over, so that there's no possibility that it can take root, creating hell for us. So the answer is always love. And generally, the love has to be applied to self first. Anything in you that resonates with that message needs to be loved into harmony. And there's always something. It's not weakness to discover the residue of blame and shame as we spiral ever deeper through our own darkness. We say deeper because we are resolving it. We're getting to the bottom of it. And so this is us addressing our deepest despair and facing it every time it comes up.
The that resonates too. There is a despair that comes up with this, and it's the feeling that of disappointment that all things can't be brought into harmony now in this moment. It's kind of like,
Now, wait a minute.
yeah,
What was
I
this
know, but
meditation just about?
it, but that's the despair. That's the root of the despair, is that the feeling that it can't, that there's a disharmony somewhere, a disturbance in the force, um, a place that is still hurting and there's nothing to be done. That
You have to love that place in yourself. That place still exists in you. That place still exists in all of us. And when we find ourselves resonating with someone else, causing despair in us, compassion does not arise from despair. Compassion arises from love that understands despair. That's very different. Does that make sense?
oh yeah.
And every experience that makes us feel less than is an exercise in self-love.
Thank you. That was part of the question about what is the lesson.
You know, we had an experience a few days ago where we met with a person and we're just leaving. And as we were putting our shoes on to go out the door with our back to the person, we suddenly felt this wave of judgment and negativity and went out the door. And it was as though it was pushed very hard against us and locked in the same moment. And we walked away going, what was that? And you know, later related this to Andrew. So we were trying to figure out where to put it, like where it came from and what it was about. And he just said very succinctly, as their demon rose up. And that's, we all have them. And so when we bump into each other's, we tend to take it personally, especially if we share genetics. And so we are in the world of gods and demons, if you want to put it that way, hell realm and God realm. So always the answer is more love. And always the answer is more love inside us. Before we, well, the more difficult it is, the more we need to go to the Anasa temple to do it, especially if we can't see it. And that's when we're, you know, trying to think through a solution, which of course is impossible because it's all circular. Because we've all been there before, over and over and over and over and over. And do we think the answer is going to be different or more approachable this time? No. So the first thing is internal love, which often involves going to our highest self. Every time it involves going to our highest self. So if we can't reach it immediately in ourselves, which is generally the case, we go to the Anasa temple. And we'll get the help we need and the guidance.
And we come here.
Well, it's the same. This is an Anasa
Yeah.
temple in this form, in this moment. Right back at you. Yes.
Well, this topic today is certainly perfect as it's right up for me. And I am always so amazed how the shifts can happen and is just so pertinent with what's been going on with me. And it's just a blessing. It really is just a powerful blessing and a beacon to follow. Yeah, it's, I'm so grateful. Thank you.
So are we. Thank you. So we're going to let you know now that we could be doing the math wrong, but we'll be here for the next, I think, 3 Sundays. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll probably miss 2 weeks, possibly more, because we need to travel as soon as possible after this surgery. But we'll let you know through emails how we're doing and what's going on, and be available as soon and as much as we can. But part of having a throat surgery is not being able to talk for a couple of weeks. So we'll be in a silent retreat. But we'll keep you posted about all of that as it unravels. But most of October, we may not be available for class. So we just want you to know so that you get your questions ready in the next couple of weeks. And we have a backlog to stand on while we're gone. Yes.
Well, I think you've given us plenty to think about and plenty to work on.
Yeah.
This is like a big
Well,
bump up.
and we're not going that soon. 3 weeks is a long
Yeah, it
time.
is.
3
It
more
is.
classes is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. We're so happy to be with you. It's 11:11 right now, at least according to our clock, and that's, angelic moment. But yes, we feel like this meditation this morning was a significant evolutionary step. And we invite you to, download it and listen to it often. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to just chime in here. I'm part of the family dynamic that Pam was speaking of, and so affected also. And my niece, um, just has so much pain, and it just makes me so sad. But I can't really do anything because
No, you can't.
I feel like I just get kind of sucked into it. I mean, I've actually tried very, very lightly a couple of times. It just hasn't worked. But yes, so I can't do anything except the Anasa temple, as you say. So the answers that you give work for me also. Mm.
We it feels like a 12-step issue or a therapy issue, or those kinds of tools are required with people who have lots of experience and patience.
She's been through a lot of therapy, but so have I in my life. Who hasn't had a weird life? Um, I started going to therapy when I was 17 on my own. But it can tend to just kind of keep you in your own world, of world hurt, you know.
Yeah, you can just circulate the toxins until you get some opportunity that takes you out of them. And many
Yeah,
people don't seek that opportunity or have any idea that it exists. And this is the problem. You can't talk to people about experiences they've never had and are only going to judge as something other than what they are. So, there's nothing to be done until the person initiates change within themselves. When you look at our world, our media focuses on the people who initiate change out of despair and do dramatic things to try to change the world by, killing those that they think are their jailers in hell. Most stories can be reduced to that. And the only thing we can do is keep evolving ourselves with the understanding that every life that our life touches will be affected. And that when these people cycle around to send barbs at us again, it's usually a signal that we're in a stage of chrysalis evolution where we're slightly vulnerable to being taken down by negativity. And so they do their best to do that. And So again, it's an opportunity to address that within us with which resonates with guilt, blame, and shame. And we live in a culture that's fueled largely by guilt, blame, and shame. So it's not a surprise that these three things are, continually rising up to challenge our equilibrium. And we choose the word equilibrium with care because we all experienced a new level of equanimity this morning. Which is why we didn't choose that word. Because when we evolve into new experience in such a way, it's showing us our next step. And it also shows us our accomplishment. Because in being a next step, being given a next step, we have transcended something. And it's on a continuum. It is an expansion of our capital S self-responsibility that we have been cultivating for a long time. So the fact that we still have people that have not begun the journey that we have chosen to be available to says nothing about our quality of experience. It's just that we have chosen to not cut off these people because that doesn't feel right either. So our response is to love more, first ourselves, and then as much as we can expand within our own evolution. And understand that that expansion affects the whole. And it stirs the pot for those whom we are connected to who have yet to do their work. So their agitation is almost directly correlated to our transformation because it makes that transformation possible for them. Because every time they feel that agitation, they have an opportunity to make a shift. And this is why we say that crisis and opportunity are the same. And once we understand that, we can capitalize on crisis to try to find the opportunity. But that takes a while to understand, and it's almost impossible to remember in the hot moments. So we stay out of judgment as we continue our own inner transformation. And when we discover that we still have blame, shame, and guilt, it's no surprise. These things are part of our experience. And so over and over again, we say, welcome. We're here with love. We are love. Yes. Well, that was loud enough for the microphone to pick up, I think. Did you guys hear my stomach? Okay, I think it's time for meditation. From the sublime to the ridiculous. So much love. Okay, let's go back to meditation. Thank you so much for being here today. We've loved being with you. Great joy. Great joy. Till next week.